What is it like for you seeing three guys that are on your team at one time about to be starters at the same time, day one this season in the NFL?
Well, I'm excited for them. This is something that they all work very, very hard for. It's, their dream growing up. But I think the key thing that everybody should remember out there is, these guys really focused on the right things when they were in college. They all focused on their development. They all supported each other, and they all improved dramatically, as college players that, enabled them to get the opportunity that they have now, which, we're excited for them, and I hope they all do well.
Coach, what went into Mac Jones basically having to sit with you for a little bit and wait his turn to now becoming the week one starter with the New England Patriots?
Well, I think, the biggest thing for Mac as a young player was he wasn't that heavily recruited, so I don't think he had the same expectations that, a lot of players, come with that think they should be a starter as a freshman or whatever. I think Mac had the right, sort of disposition about where he was as a player. He knew he had to get bigger. He knew he had to get stronger. And he was focused on, what do I have to do to develop? So, and I think that was the key to him becoming a really good player. I think he learned a lot from being around the other players. But I think he also learned how to control his emotions, stay in the right place, make good choices and decisions, not get too affected by a bad play, which are all things that really helped him become a really, really consistent player. He's accurate with the ball. He's very smart. He's going to read and get the ball in the right place. And as a quarterback, that's what you do. You distribute the ball. And to get the confidence in your teammates that you're going to do that on a consistent basis in the right way, I think is something that really can be helpful to, any quarterback because the people around you at that position need to be playing well if you're going to play well.
We're here with the head coach of Alabama, Nick Saban, on the Progressive Hotline. Coach, obviously leading into the draft, you and Bill Belichick have a great relationship. What were your conversations like about Mac Jones leading into it?
Well, 3 days up into the draft, I get lots of phone calls. And not just because of Mac, but really because of the 6 players that we had, the 8 players that we got picked in the first couple of rounds. And amazingly enough, not very many of those questions are about what kind of player a guy is. Most of the questions are about what kind of leader is he, what kind of character does he have, how's he going to impact the team, is he going to be a good teammate, he's going to represent the organization well. It's amazing that I think a lot of players sometimes don't understand the importance of that side of creating value for yourself by being the right kind of person, having the right kind of competitive character. And I think my conversations with Bill were more about that type of stuff than it really was about, can this guy throw the ball 50 yards down the field? I think everybody figures that out pretty much on their own.
Coach Nick Saban joining us here on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, 7-time national champion, Coach Nick Saban. So let me get that right. A couple years ago, Coach Saban, when you were recruiting my son, I sat in your office and we had a detailed conversation about the evolving quarterback position in the SEC conference from a read option standpoint. And I remember when you were talking to me, you said that you were more leaning toward the read option style at this point because you had practiced against it so much because of the teams within the conference, but you hadn't had a quarterback quite like that. You were more of the traditional A.J. McCarron types, the bigger guys. Now, all of a sudden, over the last several years, you somewhat shifted to a smaller quarterback, whether it was Tua, whether it was Jalen Hurts, and now the incredible young man that you guys plucked out of our backyard in Bryce Young, you just named the starter. What has he done to impress you to get the nod opening day?
Well, Bryce has been very consistent, smart, understands the offense, is very accurate with the ball, and understands, because he is, he's not a 6'4" guy. He really does understand how to move in the pocket and find windows to make throws. And he's athletic. He's quick, so he can extend plays. But the thing I like about him most is he really does try to execute what's there. He doesn't try to make things happen by making bad decisions. And, so I think he's very, very consistent. And he's improved, his presence, his leadership, I think has come with his confidence. So we're excited to see how our whole offensive team plays and how they play around them, which with a lot of new young players, that's always going to be the key for, Bryce to be able to not play well just for himself, but have everybody around him play well as well.
Coach Saban, I'm always amazed and I marvel at how at your age, and I hate to bring age into the conversation, but you still have a young man's quality about you. You still have a young man's grit about you when it keeps getting to be a younger game when it comes to college football and coaching. Where does that come from with you?
That's a good question. I enjoy what I do. The goal of the program here is to help the players be more successful in life for having been involved in the program, whether it's personal development, academic support, developing careers off the field, developing careers on the field. So there's a lot of positive self-gratification, in that, and seeing guys develop and be successful. And I love coaching. I like teaching. I like being around the players, the relationships that you have. Being a part of a team is something that I've done since I was 9 years old playing Little League Baseball. So I just always enjoy the opportunity to be able to do it. And in college, you lose about 25% of your team every year. So it's almost like taking a new job in terms of the challenges that you have to try to get the next team, where they need to be successful. And that's something that takes, a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and you got to be very committed to it. And when I'm not that, I guess I won't do this anymore, but I certainly enjoy it,
So,
still
Coach,
now a lot.
I was going to say, what's the secret considering, you've dealt with COVID, we're dealing with NIL issues now, and everybody wants to get paid. Everybody thinks they're bigger than what they are. How do you manage expectations and egos?
Well, I think, the big thing is if you keep people focused on what's in front of them and not necessarily outcomes, but what do I have to do to get the outcome? These guys want to graduate from school. They want to play in the NFL someday. So how is their behavior going to elicit the opportunity for them to do that? And are they going to have the self-discipline to make the kind of choices and decisions they need to make to be able to take advantage of their gifts and be able to accomplish the goals that they have? And, some of these things that you mentioned, they're just things that we all have to adapt to, name, image, and likeness. Players have always been able to work. Whether they chose to work or not was their choice, and fewer of them did when they could be on scholarship in the summer. And, we got cost of attendance, which gave guys extra money on their scholarship. So, name, image, and likeness is just an opportunity for a guy to work and make money. And we're happy for him to do that. But I think the big thing is you can make a lot more money by developing positive careers on and off the field than you're ever going to make in name, image, and likeness, whether it's signing autographs or doing commercials or, doing something in social media. Even though we're glad for players to do that, they also need to be able to stay focused on what they have to do to develop to accomplish the goals that they have, which most of what we're talking about here is pretty insignificant relative to what they could do if they have a successful career at the next level.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.